comments before we wrap up. We'll go back to our usual schedule. Hi, Luz, Alina, Eddie. Thank you for being here. Kelly.
Happy Saturday, everyone. Thank you. It was really interesting. It was, I didn't expect that, but it was really interesting to hear people's questions. Very great questions from the audience.
Yeah. It's, yeah. How do you balance the negative and the positive? Always the question.
That was a really good one about the society,
Yeah.
how if it increases your empathy, how then do you combat the ills that befall a society? If you're he said it right. He said it in a good way. He said something like, when the ills befall your family members, you feel it. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're cultivating this extra love for everyone else, aren't you going to feel it then too?
Yeah.
But
no, actually, interestingly, it is true. Once I never thought that I would be sitting here and talking about this to a bunch of people. But once that happened, when I started talking, so from me, it became like, okay, listen to people. And the more I listen, even today, I become so much more aware of what everybody is going through. And the Guru Maharaj, interestingly, gave an approach that it's not you who is listening, it's the person who's going to solve the problem needs to listen to that. So detachment is often misunderstood concept. Being detached doesn't mean that you don't take care of your duties or don't have empathy for people, but be detached from your own pain and others' pain as well. Because, like, I'll just give an example. If somebody is drowning, you give the rope. If you so you have to figure out how you stay safe and save the person, not that you just jump in and you don't know swimming yourself, right? So it's, if you want to save someone, you need to learn to first save yourself. And then, my kids were lifeguards. I mean, there's a whole training that needs to go in before you actually get certified. So you got to have the shields in place before you take on, the barrage of things.
Isn't that what they say on the plane too? Like, make sure that you put the breathing mask on first, and then then you can look to your whoever's around you, or something like that.
Yeah, and it would be, if you were driven by emotions, you would jump in to do something else. But no, the research has been done. Step back, first take care of yourself, then take care of. So Guru Maharaj interestingly said that you need to achieve a higher state before you start uplifting people, because uplifting people is not for the faint-hearted. Yeah.
That's so true. Yes. Uplifting people or helping people is not for the faint-hearted.
Nope. No, I mean, but empathy and what, that sentiment is. And even when I was in London, somebody there was a long conversation around when we look at the state of our existence in the world in terms of how much violence is there, how much is happening, which is not good. How do we stay positive in this? You know, it's so the thing is that yeah, it's a we do all the research to make sure that when you are in the airplane where you have to put the mask on first, that situation doesn't arise. But when it does, there has to be some rules of the road. It's interesting. Very interesting.
But presumably meditation obviously assists with that. Yeah.
It does, and I think I had talked about, like, I have this almost like a visual where there is a description of an ashram where the sage lives, and in that environment, the tigers, the birds, the all the other animals, the cattle, they all live together peacefully. So that is the impact of this, satsang, so to say. But, having that impact at that high level, if we all could do that, I think the world would be different. But unfortunately, we all get caught by these, our mind gets wrapped into this tamasic force or the negative force. And, so, but satsang and other things kind of keep you moving slowly upwards to counter the ongoing onslaught to take the energy down. So fascinating. So, Eddie, you were quiet.
Yeah, I was listening, obviously, and very good questions and conversation today. But as you were talking about the attachment to people in our lives, and feeling a sense of suffering when they suffer. I remember something I read from Guru Maharaj, and he was speaking about that very thing when he said that it's improper, I guess, to start thinking or believing that the people that we meet will always be with us, and that they're there to be with us forever, because that is, in a sense, a form of attachment. And we often think about our relatives in this way. And so when they separate from us, we feel the anguish. And what he suggested is that we serve others, and that's why they come into our lives. And so we shouldn't attach ourselves to them and think of them as being with us forever, but that when they're in our lives, we should simply just serve them. And in doing that, then we never develop that sense of attachment where we, feel the anguish and the suffering that they may go through.
Yeah. See what happens if we look at and it's kind of, pardon my example here, but like when we were infants, right? Some very interesting things happen. So the entire learning, so the first 5 years becomes the core foundation of what is recorded in our brain. That's what the recent research says. And so the amount of learning that is happening in the first 5 years is mostly with observation. So what you observe, so in satsang, it's like observe this transcendental energy, this, positive, uplifting energy, and essentially what you think you become, because whatever thought processes you continue to have, that is what will become stronger. So that's another part of that. But another very interesting aspect, if you go back to our infancy, is the mother or the immediate intimate environment that is nurturing you actually is extremely important. So the more intimate initial life experiences, so the research has is showing that the brain development actually gets affected by how your initial environment, how intimate and how nurturing that your immediate environment is. So finding this, so what I find is like the attention that is given, matters. And so empathy or a higher level of, conscious beings can just by their attention nurture your consciousness. So I don't know, I went around in a circle there, but it's very interesting how you actually there is a concept of Shaktipat, or transfer of power, or ability to affect one's consciousness with positive, energy just by giving attention. So, that's the core concept of satsang. All right, I think we are at the top of the hour. So anything else before we wrap up? Any other questions, anybody, or comments? Very well then. So I think we'll go back to the Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern. And we'll also planning to have a session on International Yoga Day at 10 a.m. Eastern. So we'll see you then. Take care.